Hey, this is Yulong. As you can see, a lot has happened for the second month after my ankle fracture surgery. So let's get into it. All right, let's get started. Now, for those who don't know, I originally created this channel to document my recovery from the Achilles tendon rupture that I had about a year and a half ago. But 2 months ago, I unfortunately broke my ankle of the other leg. And since then, I've been making videos of the broken ankle recovery as well. So in today's video, I want to talk about the month 2 after the broken ankle surgery that I had. As I show you, a lot has happened. The ankle recovers pretty well, and there's a lot of first times since the last time I made a video about the broken ankle. So let's walk them through one by one. I have my notes here. A little bit recap. Towards end of week 5, last time in the video, I talked about I visited my doctor who allowed me to do full weight bearing. And at that time, I immediately start walking with just one crutch. Now, starting in week 6, I ditched both crutches. I can show you my progress here. I still am wearing boots outside of my house, and but at home I just walk with regular slides. I want to be a little bit aggressive there because my doctor says, as long as the pain is tolerable, I can just do full weight bearing. There's no need to really gradually increase the weight. Of course, the tolerable pain is sort of a relative, it depends on how you see it. For me, when I walk without a crutch, the body still needs to catch up. At the beginning, my foot will feel incredibly sore and painful just after maybe 10-20 steps. And I have to stop. I have to rest a little bit. Once I rest a little bit, even just 1 minute, it gets much better and I can walk again for maybe another 10 steps. So it's a progression that I manage pretty closely, and I feel like my leg is catching up pretty quickly. I do need to rest and ice a lot, very frequently. I think ice helped a lot. Elevate my leg helped a lot. So for the first couple days, where I was progressing from walking with a boot and one crutch to walking just with regular slides with no crutch, I rest and ice very, very regularly, and it's basically like a loop. I walk a little bit and then I rest and even ice, and then I walk again. Just like that. That really got me, quick into be able to walk. I think I walked my dog outside for the first time as well, with the boot on. So I still wear the boots outside of my house during the week 6 for about 15 minutes, which is great. Although after that, again, my foot and is just very sore and painful. I have to rest and ice again. It's for the entire week 6 and 7. I think it's basically like that. It's very easy for me to feel the sore and just incredibly pain. At times I start wondering would my leg and foot be normal again? So that's like that. But yeah, it gets better gradually. So that was in terms of the walking. In week 6, I also start PT. PT measured my range of motion, the ankle range of motion at the beginning. I already have 2 degrees of dorsiflexion. So dorsiflexion is the way you bend your ankle upwards, bend your foot upward, which is great. We definitely need more range of motion there, but I think already having 2 degrees going to rehab is nice. I think the early range of motion exercises while I was still non-weight bearing definitely helps. So again, I'm very happy that I made the decision to transition into the boot earlier than my doctor's protocol in order to do the range of motion exercise. And yeah, during the week six, there are two more things. First is I even try a few double leg raises, you know, which again, my ankle, my foot feels very painful, and my calf and, you know, the entire leg, because I just feel like maybe the muscle is just not catch up yet. They still need to grow back. But I'm happy that at least I was able to do a few, meaning like you know, there's no range of motion issue, and I have some muscle to allow me to do that, right? And also went swimming for the first time, which is super awesome. I recommend anyone, if your doctor allows you to do it, I recommend anyone who suffered a broken ankle go swimming as early as possible, because the ankle just feels super good in the cold water. Like in the week 6, like I said, if I walk a little bit, and even if I stand for some time, my leg and the foot and ankle would just feel super sore and very painful. But if I'm in the water, things a lot better. Like I don't feel sore, and I don't feel the pressure on the ankle. And I can honestly walk in the water without feeling, you know, pain. So I definitely recommend that. And in the water, you can also swim, right? And that's exercise for your whole body. Of course, when I paddle with the broken ankle, I feel like it's still not stable enough for me to do the full paddle. So I went easy on that. But other than that, in the water, I just feel, you know, great. In starting at week 6, I can also do weightlifting again, finally. Of course, there are some movements I still cannot do fully, like lunges, but there are things I can do, like deadlift, squat. I think not too deep, but I can squat, I can do, you know, bench press and a lot of stuff, which is definitely exciting. In week 6, I also start biking, I believe. You know, as soon as my doctor says I can do full weight bearing, I started biking. I think biking helps as well, although not as much as swimming. So when I was able to swim, I always go with that over biking. So I actually ended up not biking too much. But I think if you don't have the access to a swimming pool, biking is also a very nice activity for cardio and just in general range of motion and strength, which I definitely recommend. So yeah, so weightlifting, of course, I was not doing weightlifting with my regular weights like before my injury. So don't start heavyweight, definitely for sure. But during week 6, I was able to start biking, weightlifting, and swimming. In week 7 is the time I transitioned from the boots into regular shoes, even outside. At that time, I tried wearing a brace. There are 2 types of braces I've tried. One is just like wrap around, pretty much a strap, which is a lot better. And I went with that. The other one is supposed to provide more stability. So it has 2 sort of harpies on the side of your ankle, and when you strap it up, it's the 2 harpies are supposed to keep your ankle stable. But that one, like my ankle didn't feel good. Like just feel a lot of discomfort inside of that, so I didn't go with that. But yeah, so I think week 7 is the time I was able to walk my dog with just regular shoes and a brace. And then I also went to the PT with just the brace, no crutch, no boot. And in week 7 is when my ankle feels better throughout the day. Now, towards the end of the day, the ankle still feel pretty sore and painful, even if I just rest there. That really makes me start wondering if I'm ever gonna become normal again. But I think that's just because of me exercising it too much with like, walking with, with no boot, with no crutches, and all those rehab exercises I start doing. I'm gonna go over the exercise I was doing later. Towards the morning and noon, my ankle was fine. Like I don't feel any sore or pain as long as I'm resting. Walking sometimes, yes. But like I said, I was in this constant loop, between walking and resting. Going up and down stairs is still difficult at that time. I can sort of go upstairs with shoes, like if I was wearing like slides or shoes. But I cannot go downstairs, because just there's no range of motion. And doing double leg raises are sort of regular thing now in the week 7. The week 7, my PT says I have 5 degrees of dorsiflexion on my broken ankle now. I try to shower standing up, like without a stool. But towards end of the shower, I just got a super swollen foot. So I think I was still not there during week 7. I still have to shower sitting on a stool. But overall, yeah, it's making good progress during the week 7. I think the most important thing is I almost lose the boot. Okay, now the week 8. Time moves fast here. I can do single leg stand now for like 30 seconds without too much pain. I tried that, the single leg standing at week 7 and 6 as well, and I just couldn't do that. My ankle feels unstable, and I feel like I just cannot bear the weight of my full body over just one, my broken ankle. Just too much painful, so I cannot do that. But weeks 8, I was able finally to do that. Week 8 is also the first week that I don't feel super sore or painful towards end of the day. The entire week 6 and week 7, as I mentioned before, towards the end of the day, the soreness and pain became a little bit unbearable, to be honest, towards the end of the day. Of course, after a night of sleep, things get much better. Yeah, so I think week 8 is the final day where like I just don't feel that too much towards the end of the day. Like I feel okay, I feel tolerable. Yeah, and then I was able to shower standing finally on week 8. Say goodbye to my shower stool who accompanied me for almost 2 months. End of week 8, I visit my doctor again. Yeah, the doctor says the healing is pretty good, and he was about to say I can ditch the boot now, but I told him I already ditched it and I feel fine. So he was like, yeah, it should probably be fine. And at that point of time, right, so in week 8, I pretty much ditched the ankle brace as well. In week 7, I still wear ankle brace whenever I'm outside of the house. But in week 8, I think I gradually just not wearing the ankle brace anymore. I feel my ankle is stable enough that I don't need to worry too much about that. Around that doctor visit, there is one thing that I find. I'm not sure I can show you in the picture. I can show you here. There is a there's a small bump, and a hard bump in front of my ankle. And I don't know what it was. Honestly, I was a little bit concerned about it because it feels hard. It doesn't feel like a swollen part. And it's front of my ankle. And I was like, did my bone go out of place again? There's no pain there, I should say. But there's definitely a bump there. And my doctor says it is a little bit weird, but it's definitely not bone because it didn't show up in the x-ray. And it feels like maybe it's either scar tissue or some small scale blood clot in my vein, not in my artery, in my vein, that caused it, and it might go away just over time. So I don't have to worry about it. because he also felt it. He says it feels pretty close to the skin, so it should not be like anything like deeper inside. Again, I don't feel anything there, so I don't. Gradually, my concern kind of went away, but I'll monitor it to see when does it really go away, because it's still there, a tiny bump there. Okay, now we enter week 9. Week 9, I get 6 degrees of range of motion per my PT for dorsiflexion. That goes into the final week, week 10. Right now is October 29th, so it's about halfway through of week 10. So there's actually not much of updates for week 10. Hey, so this is another day. The last time what I was talking about is that around week 9 and 10, the ankle is in a relatively good state where it just doesn't have that much of visible milestones or achievements anymore. What I did is mostly just keep doing rehab exercises, and it does keep improving in terms of range of motion and strength. Instead of talking about changes throughout the week 9 and 10, maybe I can show you some of the exercises that I've been doing during week 9 and 10. Be sure that these are the exercises that are maybe in sort of the intermediate state. If you are just beginning to recover, you are probably doing a different set of exercises. You can check my earlier videos to see what are those. But also be sure to check with your doctor or physicians to ensure that you are doing the appropriate exercises. What works for me might not work for you, right? So what I'm doing right now, first, stretching. That's to improve the range of motion, right? So to stretch, what I usually start is stretching the calf muscle and Achilles tendon in this way. So that is my back leg. This way is stretching the Achilles tendon nicely and the big calf muscle with your knee keeping straight. Right? So I'll do this, and then I'll switch the leg, and then I was able to bend my knee on this leg, and I can stretch again. So this is to stretch the Achilles tendon as well, but also I think there's a smaller calf muscle here that's called soleus. You can stretch those two as well. This stretching is particularly important because I think a lot of daily activities would require you to do something like this. Basically, bend your ankle while bend your knees. For example, walking downstairs. So you really want to stretching in this way frequently. Another thing I typically stretch is my toes, and it goes like this. You probably want to hold on to something because at this stage your toes are probably still weak. And you see here, this is my bad side. My toes are stretching pretty nicely. This is basically the lunge position, right? You're going down with one leg. And this is a pretty important stretching as well, because typically people are stretching the leg but not the toes, and if you don't stretch that enough and also strengthening enough, you won't be able to do something like that, like a lunge. You won't be able to do that because your toes are just weak. Like you see here with my good leg, I can still lunge this deep, but with my bad leg, I'm still trying to improving on. I cannot really stably, going that deep. So stretching your toes could also be very helpful. One more thing that I'm doing is with a resistant band. This is what my PT told me to do. So you want to having the band wrap around your ankle and then stretch the soleus and tendon. This is different from just stretch with a knee bend. It has a force here that pull back of your ankle, because I think the ankle itself also has some range of motion, targeting at a different range of motion than just stretching without the band. And because of that, you want to find a pretty heavy band that can give you the pull on your ankle. For strengthening, I will target at calf muscle first. Right now, I can comfortably do double leg, like 2 leg up and 1 down with no issue. I'll do both sides because my right side also suffered an injury that I want to recover from. Right, so you can do this. And of course you can do single leg as well. My good leg, I can do single leg. My bad leg can do single leg right now as well, but not as stable as my right leg. So, but calf raise is what I do the most. Of course, you want to do lower body exercise as well, but mine is usually covered by the weightlifting. Like I do deadlift, squat. I actually use squat for range of motion as well. But like I say, I do weightlifting, I do squat with weight. So I think lower body exercises, I mostly rely on just weightlifting, except the calf raise, which is targeted at the calf, that one I do. Okay, the squat is also very helpful for range of motion. If you do it like this, so basically you don't have to add any weight because this is not weight exercises. But if you can try to go as deep as it allows you to do, you can see how it applies pressure here. So it's supposed to, improve your range of motion in this way too. So I usually do this as part of the rehab exercise. Yeah. The last category that I also do is stability, to improve the ankle stability. First is just the single leg standing. You want to do this for 30 seconds, 60 seconds. And when it becomes easier, what you can do is you can do it with your eyes closed. See how you can manage the balance with your eyes closed. I think there's a particular term for that, basically managing your balance with your body, not with your eyes. And that's something you also want to recover and regain, because of the foot surgery, you probably already lose that. The second one is step up. So this is to improve the stability of your ankle as well. Basically, if you have stairs at home, you can do that too. But what you want to do is just you're trying to step up and down with your single leg. Right, this is my back leg, so you want to step down, step up, and then step down. And you want to do it slowly so that you can control the movement. Right. Now this height becomes very easy for me. So what you want to do is you want to increase the height gradually. Then the last one I do right now is with this balance. I usually do with 2 legs, because one of the things I want to go back to when I'm fully recovered is surfing. So I do want to have a good balance of the 2 legs. So this is just to keep your balance there, right? Of course, later on you can potentially switch to single leg. I don't know, but yeah, right now I'm just doing 2 legs, right, just like this. These are the exercises that I have been doing. If you see anything interesting or could be useful, don't start immediately. Please check with your doctor or physician to see if your body is ready for this kind of exercise and what's their opinion, right? Ultimately, you need to follow their guidance. And that should be the update that I have for the 2nd month of my broken ankle. I hope this could be useful, and I think I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.